It was a dark and stormy night, the kind of night that the locals avoided at all costs. The wind howled through the streets and rain pelted against windows and roofs. The tiny town of Milfield was eerie and unwelcoming, even on the brightest of days, but tonight it was downright terrifying. In the center of town sat an old, abandoned house. It was a grand structure, once the envy of the entire town, but now it lay in ruin. The paint had peeled away, the windows were boarded up, and it was rumored that the house was haunted. Few dared to venture near it, and those who did never returned to tell the tale. But tonight, strange noises could be heard coming from the old house, and the townsfolk were unnerved. They huddled together for safety, their fear palpable. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion, and the house burst into flames. The locals watched in horror as the flames grew, their light illuminating the dark sky. Amidst the chaos, a single figure was seen fleeing the burning house. It was a man, covered in soot and flames. He staggered through the street, his movements slow and erratic. It was a horrific sight. As he approached the group, they realized that something was horribly wrong. The man's face was twisted in a grotesque expression, his limbs appearing disjointed and crooked. The onlookers gasped in terror as the man lunged towards them, his mouth gaping open in a blood-curdling scream. As he came nearer, they realized with shock that he was no man at all. His skin was a pale, sickly gray, and his eyes glowed with a strange, otherworldly light. He was some sort of monster, a creature from beyond the realm of the living. The townsfolk were rooted to the spot, unable to move as the creature descended upon them, its claws outstretched. The carnage that followed was unspeakable, as the creature slashed and tore at anything in its path. The townsfolk screamed and fled in all directions, but it was clear that they were no match for the monster. It moved with unnatural speed and agility, its movements almost hypnotic. Yet a small group of survivors remained undeterred. They were led by a woman named Lisa, a fiery, unyielding woman who would not allow the creature to harm any more people. She rallied the remaining townsfolk, and together they made a stand against the creature. For hours they battled the monster, using whatever means they could find to repel the creature's assaults. They threw rocks, boards, and anything they could get their hands on. But nothing seemed to slow the creature down. Finally, when it seemed that all was lost, Lisa screamed out a desperate prayer towards the heavens. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed down from the sky, striking the creature straight in the chest. There was an ear-splitting scream and then nothing. The creature collapsed onto the ground, unmoving. It was over. The townsfolk gathered around the creature, their fear slowly turning into wonder and amazement. Was it possible that they had finally defeated the monster that had terrorized their town for so long? They looked up at Lisa, who stood, her hair whipping about her face in the wind. They knew they had her to thank for their victory, and they did so by embracing her with grateful tears streaming down their faces. The storm finally subsided, and the sun began to rise over Milfield once again. As they looked back at the old house, now nothing more than smoldering ruins, they knew that they would never forget the horror of that dark and stormy night, nor the bravery of the small group of survivors who had stood up to the monster that had nearly destroyed them all.